It's Reusse Unchained, presented by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold, investment consultant. And wow, a throwback to the 80s, man. 7 goals in the third period for the Wild. 10-7 win over one of the best teams in the league, Vancouver, last night.
I sent Judd a text because they scored 2 real quick ones. The Oilers could go from 2-1 to 4-1. I sent him a text saying, what I said, are they booing? Are they booing the lads? And you said, well, it's kids' day, so everybody's happy. But but the next thing, so I also Such had been monitoring it, so I also texted him 4-1. But an hour later, he sends me back and says it's 8-6. It was a Wilder ahead. I mean, it's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. You have to really do something nasty to be put on 5-on-3, even once, much less 4 times.
But they were obvious calls, Pat.
3 of them were consecutive or something.
But they were obvious. Like there was a puck. I think it was early in the third period. Puck flipped over the glass from the defensive zone, which is a penalty without question.
Automatic.
Yeah. Vancouver just played a stupid game, but it was the damnedest thing. So they scored. So the Wild was down 5-3 after 2. Okay. The Wild scored. I think it was a 5-on-3. 29 seconds into the third period to pull within 1. At 1:23. So do the math on that. They scored again to tie it. And at 1:44, they scored again to take the lead.
And that was, were they all 5-on-3s?
No. But all power play goals.
Yeah,
but it was crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. What a thrill for the kids that hadn't seen games before. They'll think this is the way hockey's played. Let's go out there and get goals.
Is this the first time we've ever had 2 hat tricks, same team, same game in Wild history? It has to be, right?
I don't think they've had 2 hat tricks before, but here's the incredible thing. There were 3 hat tricks in the game.
Yeah.
Because
Miller had 3 for
JT Miller had 1.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently the Canucks have been, not playing real well lately. They were mad and they had a back-to-back. So as you say, this Tocchet might just use this to scream at him because I got to think he's old school coach. That's what I got to think he is.
Yeah. I think Tocchet numbed the pain on the plane ride to Colorado with a few beverages. I think he had a few pops probably at the front of the plane.
So they're on and they have another road game now.
Yep.
But they just. How could they play that stupid? I mean, it's unbelievable. You can't keep committing penalties like that, for goodness sakes. I was actually motivated to look at the Vancouver website, the fan website, the Gopher Hole of Canucks.
Oh,
hockey.
God.
Oh, man.
And they half of them were blaming the refs and the other half were saying these guys are stupid and they're going, and we've had 54 years of failure in Canucks hockey, and these guys are going to be just like the rest of them. So they're turning on them. But it's I mean, what a nice treat though. You go over there to see your normal 3-2 game, and it ends up 10-7 for goodness sakes.
17 goals. Yeah, the last time I checked it this morning, the last time a Minnesota National Hockey League team scored 10 goals in a game was the North Stars against the Sharks in '93.
Wow.
Really?
Yep.
Last year here. Celebrated.
Last year here. The top had been the top for the Wild was 7 games with 8 goals. They had never scored 10 goals. They never scored 9 goals in the season.
And half the Sharks were our guys, right?
I was going to say.
That's the team.
Sons of a you-know-what.
With. So we had guys trying to prove that we kept the right half of the roster. Is that what they were trying to prove? Were the Sharks? Were they expansion?
Yeah, they were off.
Was that their year?
I think they won like 9 games in 71 regular season games. It was one of the worst expansion teams in modern sports.
I wonder if this is the first place team in the NHL to give up 10.
I bet a first place team in the 80s. I bet a Smythe Division team. You know what? I bet the Oilers gave up 10 while in first place back in the day when Grant Fuhr got basically torched in goal. But the thing too with Tocchet, because their top goaltender did not start, so he's going to start tonight. The thing Tocchet did, he left the poor goalie in for the entire game.
Smith, he left him in for the whole game.
Played the entire game of all 10.
It's like your starting pitcher. Sorry, dude, you got to go 7 no matter what today. Our bullpen's shot.
Anyway, crazy.
I think we got Pat on mute
Pat
here.
had to ignore a phone call. You got to come out and come back in. This happened yesterday too to Pat.
Okay.
I also saw yesterday the Wild scored 6 goals in the span of 5 minutes and 45 seconds of game time. That's the most amount of goals scored by one team in the NHL in 25 years.
99.
Wow. So 6 goals in 5:45 of game time.
Wow. How many of the 10 did we had? There was at least one empty netter, right? So how many were actually charged to their backup goalie?
Oh, let me see. I got right here. 8.
He didn't. Oh, only 8. Okay.
But he only had 17 saves, right? 17 saves or something. He was,
yeah.
That's a good batting average for a baseball player. That's 4, for a baseball
2 into
player.
empty nets.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Wow. So
is Anthony LaPanta's voice gonna make it? Did he?
I don't know.
He's
sure. Which one of the homers was his partner yesterday?
Ryan Carter.
Oh, he got really excited. I'll bet you. He can get excited when they lose 10-2.
I do have to admit, in the post-game presser with Coach John Hines, that about halfway through of can this be a signature win and stuff, I did have to jump in and say, so what's the concern here? Because your goaltender didn't play well at all. And it's a 10-7 game. I said, are you really going to watch the film and enjoy this? I have to disagree with you from the coach.
Yeah, why are you trying to pour cold water on a 10-goal performance, Judd?
Because the starting goaltender was awful.
They had to. Your team gets 10 goals and you got to hook the starting goalie. That doesn't happen too often, right? Didn't they bring the Flower in?
For the start of the third period, Gustafsson was awful. And that's why I said, are you concerned at all? Your goalie didn't play well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's nice. It's nice to have a hockey game that's not predictable. That was pretty good. I always said the difference between hockey and basketball is they play to 3. Well, last night they didn't. They played to 10 yesterday afternoon. Aren't you glad that we did Unchained early so you could get over there for the game?
Hell yeah, that's why. Yes.
Yes, you might have anticipated this coming. It was. It's fantastic.
I hope the same people complaining about all-star games being non-competitive watch that Canucks Wild game.
Yes. Vancouver was still playing the all-star game. They only had 3 guys on the ice most of the time. So anyway, that was something.
Hey, what are we learning about the Twins down there the last few days, Pat? Give us an update.
Well, they got rained out Sunday. So was it Sunday or one day it was all day rain?
Sunday
was all day rain. They didn't do anything. I was over there this morning. It was, guys wandering around. Everything's fine. And they got, what they do now though? That's really neat. Now, we didn't exactly do this when Calvin was running. They give you the lineup for batting practice. So who's going to be pitched? It starts at the big field, only at the big field, obviously not the back ones, but at 1:08. Paddock will be pitching and these guys will be hitting, and then somebody else will be pitching and these guys will be hitting. It's
they've had that for a few regimes. They post it on the brick wall inside the clubhouse usually first thing in the morning.
Now you just get up in the morning and 7 a.m. you got the who's going to be hitting at 1 o'clock. It's pretty good. Then you get and the other thing is the pitchers are. At most times, a week into spring training, they're still throwing 3/4 of speed. They're cranked up. They're ready to go. This Paddock's a talkative fella. It'd be nice if he turns out to be a good pitcher and doesn't get hurt. It would be because he'll fill up the notebook after a good performance. So that's good.
So he's saying kind of 160 innings is his goal and the team's goal, but they're going to have to maybe find some ways to limit that throughout the year.
Yeah, I saw that he basically said that they've already told him we're gonna have to. Because they want, if they make the playoffs, they want him to be part of it, right? And
a phantom injured list potentially.
Yeah. Well, 6. So look at a week when you got a game off and use a 6-man rotation or something for the week, and then all of a sudden he's only made 1 start, or you can just so we don't go back to Chris Archer, 3 1/3. Let's go. Followed by Dylan Bundy, who's even if he's pitching good, we're going to take him out after 5 innings, just so we don't go back there. But I got to think with all the relievers they brought in, that Paddock is probably going to be a 5 and fly guy for a while, don't you think? I don't think. I bet he doesn't see the 6th inning for a while. So
Yeah, especially early in the season, they'll keep him under 90 pitches is probably going to be his max. But there's a couple you could probably around the All-Star break, you could skip a start before the break, give him 2-3 weeks, and then ease him in.
You can skip him. You can pitch him on Tuesday and then put him at the back end of the All Star, and that gives him a week. So I think they did that with somebody last year. But I think meanwhile they're counting on Pablo to pitch about 210. So let's hope Pablo is the same Pablo we saw last year.
Pablo, we're gonna need to start both games of this doubleheader today, guy. Actually,
I'll tell you what, he walks in the clubhouse, so you say, "There's a pitcher." He's just a big, tall, not chubby at all, just a man. And you look at him and say, yeah, you can see why they made the trade. When you see him walking in the room, you can see why they made the trade for Louis. So
fat guys can pitch too, though, Pat. Come on.
I know they
Big
can.
fat
but
guy
that's
comes
what
in,
I'm
it's great.
saying. They can. Fatty and Mickey Lolich, my all-time favorite pitcher.
Heath
But
Bell.
pitched 312 innings or something one year, and then started 3 times in the World Series. And but that it's what's required now though is not what Mickey. Mickey had a nice slide ball, pretty good fastball, and then now they got 5-6 pitches. So it's Pablo is. I'm just saying he's an impressive looking fellow, and when he throws the baseball, he's impressive looking too. So,
I just Googled the best fat pitchers of all time, and it's a fun.
It's a good list. Rick Russell. Plus, you could
CC Sabathia, Rod
CC.
Beck is on this list. Remember
Lamar Hoyt better be on there, isn't he? Lamar.
Okay. I'm just looking at the Google images here.
Lamar
Bartolo Colon.
Bartolo, Heath Bell.
Heath Bell. He used to sprint in right from the bullpen.
Yeah, the Whiteys. Was it the 83 Whiteys, the 84 Whiteys?
That won the division?
That they had all the big guys. They had the fattest
83.
team in history. And I wrote a column saying, calling them the Fat Sox, and said that they might throw the World Series for a box of Cheetos, and that was when Greg Luzinski came looking for me in the dugout. Luckily, I was upstairs when he came. He came over to the dugout. He says, "Where's that Reusse guy? Where's that Reusse guy?" Looking to see if, because there were some reporters down there, but I was not. In fact, for years, my friends in the baseball writers around the country would say, "Where's that Reusse?" when they saw me. Because the word got out that Luzinski was going to kill me for doing that. And Luzinski, by their standards, was a big husky guy, but he wasn't fat. He was muscles. They had the chubby pitchers, and they just had a lot of tubby guys. I'd have to look at that roster, but they had some big boys.
So there is someone, the fifth search item down here is somebody did the work for the all-time all-fat guy baseball team around the diamond. Here, I'll fly through this. For first base, and love him, Kent Herbeck.
Oh, really? They put him
Early Kent Herbeck was fine, but later in his career.
Herbie used to work out all winter, get down to 230, drive down here, stop at every McDonald's, and be 245 when he weighed in.
Boog Powell, a massive oversight at first base.
Yes.
Well, hold on. No, they've got multiple. Looks like they've got multiple. So there's first base DH, both of the fielders, Cecil and Prince Fielder.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera as a corner guy.
I guess
just a big man.
But he was not. Later in his career, you could put him on there, but when he was a kid, he was all rock, man.
Up the middle, we've got Ronnie Belliard and Juan Uribe on this list.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Juan's nice and short and fat. Yeah,
chunky.
That's good.
Chunky.
I
Third
can't
base.
remember Belliard that well.
He was a little chunky up the middle. Third base, Bob Horner from the Braves back in the day.
He's a big muscular guy.
Yep.
But he was thick.
Pablo
He's more of a
Sandoval.
football player.
Pablo.
Yeah, Pablo. How could you miss Pablo?
He's back. He signed a minor league deal with the Giants.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, Pablo, God, he's got to be the captain.
Let me read through some more. Terry Pendleton, Miguel
Yeah.
Tejada? He wasn't fat,
Miguel
was
Tejada
he?
wasn't fat. That's
No,
BS.
no. How
No.
can you miss Pablo, for God's sakes? He
Yeah.
ate himself out of the league, for God's sake.
By the way, this is from 2010, so this might have been like kind of right around the time Pablo came in.
Oh, okay.
John Kruk, Dimitri
Oh,
Young,
yeah.
Tony Gwynn, Kirby Puckett, Babe Ruth,
Yeah, well, you got to put the Babe on there. The Babe
catcher
and his,
Ernie Lombardi.
Oh yeah, from the Reds.
yeah, he won he's the only, he was the first National League catcher to win a batting title. And
Okay.
he was like this. They said the slowest man in the history of baseball. So not an infield hit
There
all
were
season.
some great fat catchers though. The
Yeah.
catchers
Oh,
then-
Hector Villanueva from the
Yep.
Cubs.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
a requirement to be
LaValliere.
a catcher. Short. and
Mike
fat.
LaValliere, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Mike LaValliere. And then for pitchers, CC Sabathia, David Wells, Sidney Ponson, Fernando Venezuela, Sid Fernandez, Aurelio Lopez, Charlie Kerfield,
Yeah, he
Rich
was a
Garces.
big man. Charlie was big. Yeah.
Oh, Mike Fetters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was thick.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Bobby Jenks rounds out
Bobby
the list.
Bobby
Jenks.
Literally.
Jenks.
God.
Bobby Jenks. Bobby Jenks, didn't he save like 51 or something?
He was a good closer.
And now there's since that list was published, what the guy that played for the Mets, I forget where he is now, Daniel Vogelbach.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a great
Oh,
fat
yeah.
guy.
He just
Rowdy
signed
Velez,
somewhere.
Okay.
great
what's
fat
the-
guy.
What's the name? Hunter Boyd, right? Hunter Boyd with the Twins. Remember, he the number one draft choice, and he ate himself out of the league.
Hudson Boyd,
Hudson Boyd.
right?
He and Vogelback went to the same high school here in Fort Myers. He and Vogelback, they must have had a hell of a cafeteria in that place. 'Cause I mean, Vogelback's unbelievable for modern,
Oh,
well,
it's great.
the old Schwarber could have made it when he was when he was a kid. Now he's like this rock and still strikes out 3 out of every 5 at bats, but the other 2 he hits home runs or gets a walk. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's a good team, but yeah, it should be modernized to get. If it doesn't have Pablo in it, it doesn't count, man.
Well, and there's more fat people in America today. I don't know if you guys follow any of these accounts on Twitter, like historical, like history, videos and history or whatever.
New York.
And there was a video of New York City in the early 1950s, and it's just a steady camera with people walking on the street. Zero fat people. It's like a 60-second video. Probably 200 people walk by in the frame. None of them are even chubby back in the 1950s.
Wow. Well, they weren't making a lot of money, and they didn't. You know what? The great phenom of this age, it's always been sports and music, right? Has been the 2 top things of entertainment. Now it's food. The network's got 12 food shows. We got the food contests with, who makes the best whatever. Food has become very important.
Craft
weren't
cocktails. Yeah.
There weren't convenience stores too, right, Pat? Like in the 50s and
right.
60s, you couldn't run down the street at 10 o'clock.
Get some
and
sun
get a bag of-
chips.
No pizza. You know where you can trace that to? No pizza.
Yeah.
I say, I'm so old, I'm older than pizza. We didn't have pizza until about 54 or 55. So we didn't have it. They thought, what is this thing? And is there anything in America that has more to do with fat than pizza?
Wait,
No.
this is a fun game. Let's try and figure out what foods is Pat older than. Tater tots were invented in
God.
1953. Pat is older than
Older
tater
than
tots.
Tater tots. I probably didn't taste my first one until 5. They never made it to Fulda, tater tots, for God's sakes. They never made it down there. Yeah, I'm older than tater. Oh, there's quite a bit of stuff I'm older than. But pizza, people don't believe it. I said, I'm older than pizza. We didn't have pizza.
Yeah.
Came in and you know what else? One of the great when I was 13 years old, we took a trip out to Portland for one of my parents' niece's wedding, and we drove out and there was this new, unbelievable restaurant serving hamburgers for 15 cents. McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's is like, and people were just lined up. You can go get a hamburger for 15 cents and you don't have to wait. It was amazing. So, of course, back then, that's all they had. It was a hamburger. They didn't have
No
all
large
these-
fries. You couldn't get the
Oh, you had fries
large-
too. Yeah,
Supersize
fries, but
me?
you didn't-
Couldn't
you didn't
supersize
have- Yeah, I think you could get
apple
a,
pie
a hamburger or a cheeseburger. That was it. It was like White Castle. So,
By the way,
and
smoothies were invented in the 1930s, so smoothies are older
I'm
than
not.
Pat.
Yeah, I can guarantee you, I was 30 years old before I had my first smoothie, and it might have been my last one. Because if you're gonna get a smoothie, get a malt. Malt's much better
Malts
than
are
a
great.
smoothie. Yeah.
Love a malt.
You don't strike me as a smoothie guy.
No, I'm not a
I would never
smoothie.
think you're a
Yeah,
smoothie
as I
guy.
said, okay, bananas and stuff. Yeah, banana malt, fantastic. They're great. One of my favorites. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I can't report any breaking news down here yet, but the fellas are. We're only 3 days away from the Gophers being here. The
Yeah.
Gophers. I'm sure we have something prepared, pregame ceremony prepared at home plate for John Anderson. I would guess. Huh?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
legend. Yeah.
Yes.
Let us know. We'll do a breaking emergency episode the minute you see Byron Buxton standing in center field in an
Center field,
actual
I
game.
saw him today walk in, but in an actual game is going to be something. His hair is a little different this year. I don't know what he's doing there.
Is he
He's got
growing it out?
Yeah, it's kind of growing it out. It looks pretty good.
Both you guys are.
So, hey, I got a cut right before I came down here. I didn't want it blown. Honest to God, when it gets long now, I'm Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. It just goes, Marty.
1.21 gigawatts.
How many were there? How many Back to the Futures?
Three,
What did we have?
four?
Three, four,
Three for
five,
sure.
3,000.
And they would have made more, I'm sure, if not for the health issues of Michael J. Fox. That was prime for like three more episodes. You know, we bring everything back. 20 years later.
Yeah, American Fiction, boys, go watch it. It's great.
Okay.
Yep. Put it
American
on the
Fiction.
list.
Okay.
All right, Pat. We'll talk to you later this week, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
There he is, Reusse Unchained here on Score North.